Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to my Disney Dreamlight Valley decorating series. I'm not a highly skilled decorator, and it doesn't matter. I know I'm not the only one that gets overwhelmed, starts but doesn't finish, or worse, never starts at all. This series is about me breaking down my process, room by room, space by space, even if it ends up super basic. If that sounds like fun to you, great, let's do this. All right, let's go in and start on the second floor, the kitchen. Decided to make the kitchen the first room because I want the stove to be in the central room. I'm going to make the two sides, the left and right rooms, the ingredient storage, and then the fishing and seafood storage. But I like having either a workbench or the stove or whatever be in the first room you come to. I've just gotten in the habit of that with my previous systems and my previous layouts. So of course I want to look at all the different options for the counters. I liked the idea of this blue and white combination because I already kind of felt like I might use one of the more colorful counters and cabinets and stuff. But I still wanted to look at all of them. And I can always change, the floor of the walls later if I discover that, I really wanted to use like the Tiana set or whatever. But I got down to this black with black marble top and then this blue. And then I wanted to put out as many pieces of them as I could. And I don't know, about halfway through the black one, I was like, kind of feel like the blue is going to win. So I just took a quick look and went, yep, the blue is going to win. So I struggled with the doors in this room, not the side doors. I liked the boo doors for them, but the one that would lead to the dining room, I was kind of torn about because these doors are so freaking big. And I was really wanting silver as my kind of metal in this room, but there's so much gold that I was looking at the gold ones too. I was just being kind of stingy about it, really, because I was just like, I wish there was more silver options, because I prefer silver as a metal in general. But the more stuff I put out, like this stove, the fancy stove, and I feel like there was something else that I came across in a bit that was also gold that I was like, well, probably go back to a gold. But I kind of was like, well, maybe I could use these galactic doors. Anyway, doors are always going to be a thing, I think, just because our options are so limited. But I'm trying to pull out everything I can find that I might put on the kitchen counter. I was looking at some windows. Wasn't really sure if I wanted windows in here. I like those shelves a lot. I really wish we could put stuff on them, or like I've said in previous videos, that we could like reskin them so there were things on them. And still trying to look at windows. The other big wall object. And trying to pull out as many of the wall cupboard things. And then of course looking at plants, because I'm really enjoying putting plants in the rooms. Even if I'm not a plants in every room person in real life. Oh yeah. And that's when I was like, well, if I'm looking at these gold shelves, I might look at these celestial windows. And then I ended up landing on that celestial door for the entrance to the dining room. And I really wanted my doors to be offset in this room. I really wanted those storage room doors to be close to, the first wall, I guess, the entry wall. And then I wanted the dining room door offset. Because, again, I really like the feeling of going from a room to another room and having the door not be in exactly that central location. Oh, yes. And then this is a bazillion futzins. That's not a real word. It's a real word for me. That, which cabinets should go where the pots and pans should go. Oh, and then above the door on the left, I've got those herbs. And then above the door on the right, I've got that trophy, that piranha trophy. because that way it's kind of a visual cue of this is the side with the fishing and seafood, and then the other one is the ingredient side, and then it's still cute in the room. It's not like I don't really care for the signs they've added to this game. If they work for you, then that's great. I don't they're a little bit too generic for my liking. Oh, and that's me asking my husband, where would you prefer, if you had a big fancy kitchen, where would you prefer your sinks? If you had more than one sink and you had a double sink. So the double sink ended up across from the prep area, and then the single sink was closer to the fridge. And this is me trying to get the spacing right between like the different edges of the counter. And yeah, this is me trying to find all the different cupboard pieces. And then I kept trying to like rearrange them to make them make sense. Like, where would I store the pots and pans? Where would I store glasses? Where would I store, you know, all this stuff, and trying to get them, you know, kind of balanced and left and right handles in the right spots compared to, you know, the central handles. And then I don't think I do the bottom set for a while. I start rearranging the stuff on the cabinets on the floor before I start really realizing that I haven't set up the handles correctly. And so then I messed with that for a bit. I wanted, you know, the blender in the corner because it's tall. I feel like it would be out of the way. I liked the idea of the glass cupboards up top being for like cups and stuff like that. And so that's where I wanted the espresso machine. And now I'm trying to figure out what to do with this wall. I wanted it balanced. I wanted it symmetrical. And I liked the idea of some plants bookending it. I thought about some wall lamps. So here I'm trying to figure out what lamps I would want in the space above, you know, the island and just around. I feel like kitchens really need lots of really good lighting. And, but that island was kind of different too. I wanted something kind of, I don't know, it was a little bit more interesting to look at, a little drop light, as opposed to these very simple ceiling lights. But I thought the ceiling lights were really good. And then it took me a little bit to get the spacing right, so they were symmetrical. But I really wanted it to be these hanging lights, these 3 hanging lights, and I just, because of the fact that they were, you know, the width they were, and, you know, the length they weren't fitting over the island quite right. So I decided to look for something else that I could center. And that's why we went with the Mickey light, again in the gold, because there was so much stuff that worked that was gold that I was just like, well, we're doing gold, I guess. Yeah, I thought about putting some more lights around the room in the spaces that weren't kind of lit up by those ceiling lights. And I didn't like by the front door was fine, or the entry door. I don't even know what to describe that. How you get into this floor. The floor door, that's not it either. But I just couldn't, I don't know, make them work anywhere else. I couldn't make them work by the dining room door. I couldn't make them work by the ingredients room, the storage doors. And so I just decided to say, screw it, and just leave the doors or the lights like they were. And, you know, it's fine. I even thought about using that Mickey light to light up the dining room door, but it hung too low and I didn't like it. So now I'm looking for more decor, plants, things I think would look good in this room. If I found like fruit bowls or kitchen appliances or kitchen gadgets or whatever, dishes, those stacks of bowls, you know, just trying to stick it all on the counters and then see where things would lay out. I wish I could have put that Mickey light or Mickey clock just a little bit lower, but it wouldn't go. So it lives up there in a less ideal position, but that's okay. And yeah, I really like how that little book on the counter looked, especially underneath the shelf where it's obvious there's more cookbooks being stored. Like, I liked that it looked like it was out being used. Yeah, anything food related. I thought about putting the tea service in here. I thought about putting that kind of pastry table in here. I liked the idea of having, you know, like little potted flowers in here. Oh yeah. So one of my big complaints for this room was trying to find all of the different place settings, because I really wanted to make a breakfast nook, and they're not all named the same thing, and they're not all in the same categories when you're looking through the different lists. So, spoiler alert, my next room is the dining room, and I found place settings while I was searching through stuff for that I didn't find when I was looking for stuff for the kitchen, and I might go back and swap them out. I also found a couple of other objects that I was like, how did I miss that? I looked through all these lists so many times. I feel like I'm being redundant in my search, and then I'm still finding stuff later that I'm like, well, dang, I wish I'd had that when I was doing the other room. So yeah, I was trying to make some stuff symmetrical around that front door, dickering with whether or not I wanted art up there or just some plants. And then I wanted some mats around the sink areas. So just trying to figure out which ones I liked the best. I thought about putting one in between the stove and the prep area, and it wasn't sitting quite right and didn't look quite right to me. Oh yeah, I thought about putting these drink cabinets over here, but eventually I get them out of there. I thought even about putting them in the dining room, but another spoiler alert, I did not, because I'm like, oh, I could make myself like a little bar. So I'll save those for a little kind of bar room, I guess, or whatever it ends up being when I finally get to that point in the decor series. And those little white plates they were just too fancy for this room. And I thought about having some drinks, but it was looking a little crowded. Trying to decide on some stools. None of the stools were really satisfying, but those were close enough. Those little holographic, multicolored ones. Oh yeah, that's me finding another place setting that wasn't in the original bunch that I had found. They weren't right either, because they looked too holiday specific. Oh yeah, a little flower, some fruits. Like if you sat down and had breakfast, you might also grab some fruit. And yeah, just some final touches here. Trying to find a home for the different things. I probably won't put a cheese grater anywhere else, so gotta find it at home in here. But now just finalizing this kind of entryway. Yep. And can't remember if there's anything else I futz with before I'm done. Oh yeah, I'm still not happy about those rugs. It took me a bit to decide to try and get them centered. And yeah, seashells won out in the end. All right, let's go check it out. I can't believe we're on the second floor. For someone who doesn't decorate, it feels good to be, kind of on making progress, I guess. Here we are. I really like how this turned out. I don't know if this is a kitchen I would have, like if I had a mansion in real life. I don't think this is exactly what it would be like, but it's fun to kind of have this fantasy of like what you would do. I really like how Eve's plants looked in here. I liked the fact that I was able to make that wall symmetrical, even with the doors offset. There's some stuff that it's like, it's not, I don't know if I'd pick these seashell mats if I had something else, but they work in the room. Their color, they match. And I like the little moment over here with the appliances, and then the recipe the book, the recipe book, I guess. All the pots and pans on the wall, and a big prep area, a little, breakfast nook. I even like how the pumpkins ended up working in here, but we can pretend like there's actually storage happening on those shelves instead of empty shelves. And then I like the fact that I was able to kind of label in a way my ingredient storage, but they still fit with the aesthetic and vibe of the kitchen overall. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with this. And collecting all those different counters and cupboards and of all various styles and handles and everything has paid off in a pretty cute kitchen, I feel like. So yeah. That's it for today's decorating adventure. If you liked this video, a thumbs up is a great way to let me know, and a subscription will keep you up to date on my latest shenanigans. If you want to hang out with me live, I stream on YouTube and Twitch on Thursday evenings and middays on Sunday. I hope you have a lovely day, night, time, wherever you are, whenever you are. And I'll see you next time.